as I was running pretty lonely in a bit of a no man's land. That was until I saw the yellow flag. Welcome back to the 8th round of our 1994 Lotus Farewell season in Automobilista 2, where today we will be racing at the Circuit du Spa-Francorchamps in the Belgian Ardennes. Like pretty much every race that season, this one was one of controversy, as well as Michael Schumacher crossed the line first that day, but later was disqualified for excessive skid block wear. Now, where have I heard that before? Schumacher's championship rival Hill then inherited the race win, while Häkkinen and Verstappen completed the podium. This was also Schumacher's last race before the 2-race ban he received for ignoring the black flag in Silverstone, meaning from here on the championship fight was getting interesting again. Our guy Zanardi was replaced by Philippe Adams, who competed unsuccessfully in his home race here, spinning off after just 15 laps. This of course can't be our goal here, as we aim to finish in the top 10, which might be a step down from our latest point scoring result at Hockenheim, but as we look at the starting grid, you won't find us on the first page as usual. Remarkably though, it was Rubens Barrichello who started this race from pole position in 94. Philippe Adams only just qualified for this race in P26, which therefore is where I will be starting from as Alessandro Zanardi. So, here it is, last to top 10 in a 1994 Lotus. Can we do it? Well, we're about to find out right now. Well, and here we are on the starting grid, quite some way back from the starting lines on a very tight pit straight here that isn't even straight, as we are approaching La Source for the first time. We made it past the sim tag of Roland Ratzenberger, but then it's quite the traffic jam, down to 35 kph we have to go, as we are now exiting La Source, and now we go full beans down towards Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time this race. Try and stick with the guys ahead. Have to lift a bit, the car's very heavy in this early stage of the race. 2 positions we have already gained, but we are getting under attack there from Christian Fittipaldi. So I have to watch the mirrors rather than do the attacking. Well, we managed to stay 24th, but we are now trying to find a way past the Tyrrell of Ukyo Katayama ahead of us and down into Brussels. We see an opening, but we can't really find a way past. So we have to stay behind for a bit, and I think that will even be a bit longer, because through Pouhon you usually don't see any overtakes, but they're all kind of stuck there on the inside line. So actually around the outside we find a bit of room. We're past Katayama and now following the next car, which is the La Ruse of Olivier Beretta. The last Monegasque driver before Charles Leclerc in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, it isn't even Beretta. I do apologize, that is Eric Comas, but we are past him anyway. And there is our teammate Johnny Herbert trying to find a way past Jack Brabham, who got a decent... No, not Jack Brabham, David Brabham, of course. Who got a decent starting position, but as I got it wrong on comms, I also got it wrong on track, as Katayama briefly slipped past. Well, now he fully slips past, but going towards La Source, we gain that position back, and even past Eric Comas we go. Then we try to get a wheel alongside Brabham, but we do cede that position for the moment. But our opportunity will surely come if this time I do manage to get a good exit out of Radion. Up the hill we go. Where is the slipstream? Looks decent. Oh, but are we gaining enough to make a move? Fittipaldi is gaining in our mirrors as well. Oh, Brabham tries to close the inside, but he does too late. And so we are through. We just hang on to the track, and that is us up to P21. bit of a moment as I follow the car in the middle of that group into the gravel trap. But we get away with it, and we are now again alongside our teammate Herbert. And then we even attack Alboreto, and this one actually is Olivier Beretta, who retakes the position briefly out of Blanchimont, but then into the bus stop hairpin. We find some room on the inside. We're late on the brakes, and we are past the Monegasque driver in the Larousse. He is trying to look round there outside into La Source. We're quite late on the brakes. There would have been a gap on the inside for an up and under, but he doesn't do so. So up to P18 we are now. And then we jump ahead in time a bit, as once again we're entering the final sector of this track. The run towards Blanchimont. And then we are approaching the Ligier of Eric Bernard. And I do apologize, I confused Olivier Panis and Eric Bernard the whole time at the race at Hockenheim. Now I know it. Number 25 is Eric Bernard, number 26 is Olivier Panis. I am very sorry, and I do apologize for mixing them up. I think it's a pattern this season, but let's hope that I finally know the numbers now by heart, and that doesn't happen again to me. Though I'm sure it will over the course of the remainder of the season, which is still quite a lengthy one. After this one, there are still 5 more races to go. As there is an interesting battle happening ahead of us. Where we are hoping to take advantage. Gianni Morbidelli is now the next car that we want to get past. And down into Brussels. This time we get her a car alongside. We tried to do so earlier this race against Katayama. Then I backed out. But this time I pulled it through. And now the next car is the Ligier of Olivier Panis, who just made it past or successfully defended from Morbidelli. I don't know who actually was ahead of whom before the run to Le Combe. But now it's definitely the young Frenchman who had a career that could have been so much better than it was. In 1997, with the newly formed Prost team, he had such a successful run, as we're just getting past him, until a very bad day for him at Montreal, where he crashed heavily, injuring him, and ever since he returned, he wasn't the same. So that was a shame, because he was such a fantastic and bright talent. But as I talk about the career of Olivier Panis, I'm already up to P15, and I already caught up to the Tyrrell of Marc Blondel, which I'm now trying to follow through Eau Rouge and Gravillon. Well, and we've tried this move before on a Tyrrell. It didn't work then, but it does work now. And by the way, as we just passed him, I want to point out that I finally managed to fix the issue with some of the textures of this texture pack looking pretty blurry or pixelated in virtual reality, which I didn't know what the issue was, because I use the same settings I do for all my other series, and there this was never an issue. Well, I fixed it now, and also now in virtual reality all of those textures are in HD quality as we just pass Pierluigi Martini. who can now get back into our slipstream and try something into bus stop. He doesn't. No, he's very close. So you need to be careful with the Italian that in our 1991 season we took to a podium success. Mr. Minardi. He scored over half the points in the entire history of the Minardi Formula 1 team. Which sounds impressive, but then again it was only a handful of points, to be honest. In 1994, he also scored some points for them, but not yet in our season. And he won't do so in P14, but he's trying to go for the position that we just gained. And on our inside, it's also Marc Blondel having a look. Oh, Martini finds a way alongside us into Le Combe, but we defend and we now have P13 safely, and we were getting away from Martini. Well, and from there the race slowed down for a bit as I was running pretty lonely in a bit of a no man's land. That was until I saw the yellow flag, and again, oh, Karl Wendlinger. Oh, this is a bit of a flashback that we had there. An unsafe rejoin from the Austrian driver saw a potentially good race at Imola for us go down the toilet. Yeah, this time he went off the track after spinning out. So well done on him. Oh no, and an issue for the other Sauber. I think that was Heinz-Harald Frentzen crashing into the pit entry there. As you see, the first cars are making their way into the pits for their one and only pit stop for fuel and fresh tires. I have one more lap of fuel in the tank, so I will now try and be as fast as I can with that light car that we have now to try and gain some more positions. Well, and this is looking like an incredible lap. It will be my personal best. Well, would we actually finish that lap? But we will go into the pits after the bus stop chicane. But I think we've done everything we need. Oh, another yellow flag. Take it slow. But I can't see why that yellow flag was there. It's gone already as well. But yeah, we have the opportunity to gain some positions without actually having to fight for them. Which, of course, isn't great from a viewer's perspective. But from inside the car, this is beautiful because, yeah, that means less worries about crashing into someone or being taken out by the AI, which has happened lately. As we go out of the pits, and it's looking good. P12 was where we were ahead of everyone's pit stop, and we are now in the top 10, and you just saw the McLaren of Martin Brundle pass us at the exit of the pits, so we're not too far away from him either. Well, and at the end of our outlap, we already caught up to him. Again, our pace is really good. So despite us starting last, we already achieved our goal of a top 10 finish if we stay where we are. But right now, this is rather looking like we could finish even further ahead. We are getting a good run on the McLaren. I don't even think he can do anything about it. He tries to defend the inside, but yeah, it's no use. Even ahead of the braking zone, we are past the Briton in the McLaren. Well deserved that he got the promotion to McLaren in 94. But sadly, that was during a period where McLaren was really struggling. First with these Peugeot engines, and then in 96, I think it was. No, 94 already? 95, sorry. They made then the switch to Mercedes. But Brundle was already gone. And when they switched to Mercedes, this was when things were picking up for them. Especially for the guy that is now ahead of us, Mika Häkkinen, who would win the championships in 98 and 99, albeit in our universe, Frentzen became the 99 champion. We made it so. But yeah, we don't care about the past and or future, which is both in our case. Season 1999. It sounds weird, don't think too much about it, and set our sights on Jos Verstappen and Mika Häkkinen. Oh, and again, this is already looking incredible. We haven't had to live there into Radion, but still, there is the slipstream, and 3 wide. We're going on the camel straight, not quite, because Häkkinen fans off Verstappen, but there's still enough room for us to go down the inside and past both of them. We are, and now we're up to P7 if we can keep it on the road. And that means, should anything happen to one of the cars ahead, we're in the points yet again. 2 point scoring results in a row, but we need some help from somewhere because, yeah, the gap to the next cars is just too big to overcome on pace. And, well, the cars that we're battling and fighting against, they are getting quicker as well. At the moment, it looks like we are getting away from Mika Häkkinen, though. Whoop, Ella might have taken things a bit too easy there, as Häkkinen dives down her inside into Lascelles them too early on the brakes. And he immediately sees that opportunity and retakes the position. Jos Verstappen further dropping back. But we will get a chance now on the Camel Straight. And just as we did a lap before, we breeze past the Flying Finn. And then into Lecombe. We brake well. And we retain the position. At least that is for now. And again, a lap later, beginning of lap 20. But we're still checking our mirrors because Häkkinen was now going with us. And he is gonna attack. We defend the inside, but at the same time we see a car ahead. And at the beginning I thought this was a back marker. Maybe I should focus on the driving right now and not on the car ahead, because there is Häkkinen again, but he's on the outside around Brussels, and I think he will just run out of room at the exit. And yes, he does. I mean, he's still not giving up though, is he? But yeah, the car ahead, I thought it was a back marker, because we were really gaining quickly on them. But well, sometimes things just happen. Lucky things. Because as it turns out, as I was getting closer and closer, that was actually Williams. And this pass will actually be put for position, and it won't be a difficult pass, because look at that. Something is wrong with the Williams of Damon Hill. Again, it is a Williams that hits technical trouble. It was Senna at Montreal. This time it is Damon Hill going incredibly slowly, and we're up into the point scoring positions. P6 again. It will be 1 point if we manage to keep that position for the last 2 laps that we're about to start right now. But Mika Häkkinen, I can already tell you, will also easily breeze past Damon. And then, well, we will still have to defend from Mika Häkkinen. 2 laps to go now for 2 consecutive points finishes. We just managed to do it in Hockenheim. And oh dear, once again it will be a fight into the last lap. We had a bit of a gap because Häkkinen got held up there by Hill. But as I almost lost the car through a rouge, which would have been catastrophic, yeah, that has allowed Häkkinen to close right up and show his McLaren Peugeot inner mirrors. And he is properly filling them right now. There is another car approaching quickly. This time it is a back marker though. This is the Simtech of David Brabham. We get past him without issues. But so will Mika Häkkinen. But there is a small gap again. But we cannot afford to make a single mistake, because then he will get us. And I'm not gonna lie, my heart rate was still a bit above average now after that near miss at Eau Rouge. Well, here we go. Entering the final lap of the Belgian Grand Prix 1994. Mika Häkkinen is there, and we do not have nice memories with late race battles with Mika Häkkinen, because in the Heinz-Harald Frentzen series that I mentioned earlier, he was taking us out into Blanchimont when we were trying to pass him for P3 back then. Well, here we are on the Camel Straight. Oh, he's getting a good run. We will need to defend. Häkkinen towards Lecombe. He is alongside. He is even briefly ahead. We managed to keep our car alongside. We will have the inside for the next corner. Can we hold on to the position? Yes, we can, because Häkkinen gets on the curb there a little bit. Loses a bit of exit speed, and that is us still into P6, but Spa-Francorchamps is a circuit where there is more than one place on the track where you can properly overtake. Of course, the run towards Lecombe is the best one, but then there still is the bus stop where you can go for a daring move. All we need to do is get a good exit out of the 2 corners that are coming up now. 2 right-handers. Usually this one is flat out. I lift a bit going into it, but early on the power we are. Checking the mirrors. Left, right. Where is Häkkinen? I can't see him. A couple of car lengths. He is behind. Through Blanchimont. This one's flat out. And now it's only the bus stop left to go. No Häkkinen to be seen. Foot on the power, out of the final corner, and again it's a point scored for Zanardi and Lotus from last on the grid. Well, and then here is the full list of point scorers of today's race. Ayrton Senna returns to winning ways ahead of Schumacher and Alesi. Barrichello drops from first on the grid to fourth. Gerhard Berger finishes roughly 10 seconds ahead of us. And yeah, as we saw, we score the final point today again in the Drivers' Championship. That once again means that we have 3 drivers within 10 points. Schumacher still is in the lead, 8 points ahead of Hill, but with that race win, Senna is right back in the fight with 5 races to go. And then we slowly but surely crawl closer to the Benetton of Jos Verstappen, as we are now in 9th on 3 points. And in the Constructors' Championship, Williams extend their lead over Benetton, which is pretty much a one-man show with Schumacher. Ferrari is in 3rd, not too far behind. McLaren, Jordan and Lotus then 4th, 5th and 6th. The only 3 other teams that have scored points so far, although Sauber, Tyrrell and Ligier came very, very close so far this season. And that has been it with the 8th round of our 1994 season in Automobilista 2. The next race, we will travel to Monza for the Italian Grand Prix, another high-speed circuit. Subscribe to not miss that, leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.